In this video, I'm going to be talking something I'm very passionate about. That's parallel parking. I'm just kidding. I don't give a shit about parallel parking. In fact, I usually just hit the car in front of me and leave them $100. Of course, I do steal their car battery and then throw my old one in the creek because that's the kind of guy I am. But really, what I'm going to be talking about in this video is betting on the NBA. This is a video for somebody that's completely new to betting on the NBA, so I will be doing more advanced ones in the future. Let's do this shit. Okay, so the first things first, we're going to be talking about the NBA and moneyline betting. Now, what the hell does that mean? Moneyline betting is basically you're just picking the winner. For instance, let's say the Boston Celtics and the Detroit Pistons are playing. The Celtics have a negative 850 odds of winning, which means they're a clear favorite. The Pistons, since they suck ass, are a plus 900 odds of winning. Now, clearly, everybody and their mom is going to pick the Celtics to win. They're a huge favorite. However, don't bet on clear favorites in the NBA, meaning if they're a negative 150 or more, don't bet on them. Don't put a whole bunch of money on them because upsets do happen and your bankroll is really going to suffer. Meaning when that rare upset does happen, you're going to end up losing a lot of money. Now, if all that doesn't make any sense, make sure you check out my videos on bankroll management. Basically, you want to be betting your NBA bets in units, which is a consistent amount that you're going to be placing every bet on. And bankroll management is so important if you're going to make any money betting on the NBA. But really, betting the money line on the NBA is pretty straightforward. You just want the team to win that you pick. You don't care if Shaquille O'Neal powerbombs Steve Nash. You just want the team to win that you pick to win. Okay, so the next way to bet on the NBA would be to take the points or the spread. It's the same thing. If you ever hear points or take the spread, they're talking about the exact same thing. Okay, so for this example, we're going to say the Utah Jazz and the Denver Butt Nuggets are playing. And basically, the Utah Jazz is the underdog since they have a +7 by their name, which means if you took the Utah Jazz, they have to come within 7 points in order for you to win your bet. Now, if you took the Nuggets, on the other hand, they're the favorite and they have to win by 7 or more. Meaning, if they won by 7 points, it would be a push and you would just get your money back. So really, you would need the Nuggets to win by 8 points. And then the two numbers next to them, like for instance with the Jazz, as a +110, that's the odds. Basically, that means if you put $100 down, you would win $110. Now, the negative 150 next to the Nuggets, that means that's the odds for them. Meaning, if you put $100 down, you would get like $66.67 back. Now, if you're confused on how the odds work, make sure you check out my video on that and it explains that in full detail. But basically, the odds determine how much money you're going to win and who's betting for who. Like, if there's a lot of people betting on the Denver Nuggets, obviously you're not going to get as much money. But in this example, if you were to take the Jazz, you would actually get a lot more money. Geez, I'm really hungry for chicken McNuggets. Another popular way you can bet on the NBA is by overs and unders. With this example, I'm using the Lakers and the Warriors. And let's say the over and under is 220.5 points. Now notice I said 220.5 because you can't score a half point in basketball. So in order to hit the under, you're going to need under 220 points. And to hit the over, you're actually going to need 221 points. Basically, what the overs and unders in this situation means is the teams, the Lakers and the Warriors, their combined totals have to be over or under a certain amount. I mean, if the Lakers score 100 points and the Warriors score 110, you would win the under. Now, you're not just limited to just overs and unders for the combined total. You could also bet if you thought the Lakers were going to score over or under 110 points. And also, you could bet the other way. If you thought the Warriors were going to score over or under 110 points, you could bet either way. Now, you're not just limited to the whole game. You can do the first quarter, the first half, or even the second half. You could take the team or you could take the combined total. Overs and under are really a popular way to bet and a very profitable way to bet if you know what you're doing. And while we're on the topic of unders, I actually store my gambling winnings under my bed mattress. Something's really wrong with my brain. But if you want good sports betting advice, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Okay, so the next way you can bet on the NBA is through player props. Now, this is probably my favorite way to bet on the NBA. Really, I'd put NBA player props as fun as watching girls play volleyball, sand volleyball, and then pick the sand out of their butt. You know that's a good time. With player props, you really don't care who wins the game, and you really don't care what the score of the game is. You just hope that whatever player you're betting on either goes over or under whatever statistic you're betting on. And what the hell do I mean by statistic? For instance, you might take Stephen Curry for 3.5 3-pointers, meaning he's got to go over or under that amount. Another thing you could bet on is Luka Doncic to score over 35 points. Also, you could bet for him to score under 35 points. You could bet on an over and under for Nikola Jokic. For instance, you could bet on him getting over 8 rebounds or under 8 8 rebounds in a game. You could also bet on James Harden to get over or under for assists in each game. Or you can combine the two, like points and assists for James Harden or any player. Really, betting on player props for the NBA is one of my top ways for betting on the NBA. It's the most profitable, and you don't really care about the over or under or even what the score is. You just want to zero down on one player, and you want him to either overperform for what the sports books say or underperform. But NBA player props are definitely the funnest way and most profitable way to bet on the NBA. Okay, so another way you can bet on the NBA is through futures. Basically, you're just banking on a team to perform a certain way during the NBA season. For instance, you might pick the Celtics to win the championship, or you could pick the Milwaukee Bucks to be the Central Division winners. You can pick a certain team to win or lose a certain amount of games. Basically, you're taking the over or under, but you're not just limited to like team futures. You can go with player props, like who's going to win the MVP, which player is going to get the most blocks, which player is going to get the most rebounds, who's going to score the most points. So futures really are a kind of fun way to bet on sports, and I wouldn't recommend putting a whole lot of money on them. Basically like a unit or maybe a half of unit on each future bet that you're going to make. Now these aren't limited to just before the season. As the season progresses, the NBA season progresses, you can take a certain team if you think they're going to make the playoffs or win their division. Now there are a lot of them that are completely pointless, and basically the likelihood of winning them isn't very good at all. Futures really can be a good way to bet on the NBA. Just know that you're not going to get your money back right away. In fact, you got to wait till the end of the season. So just keep that in mind when you're managing your bankroll for the NBA. Well, there you have it. There's how you bet on the NBA. Hopefully, if you're new to betting on the NBA, this video has helped you. If it has, go ahead and make sure you hit the like button. But leave a comment down below. Let me know what your favorite way is to bet on the NBA. Say something weird. I don't give a shit. Do make sure you subscribe to my channel if you want more sports betting advice. As always, check the links in the description. There's always a shitload of them. And I'm out. Time to go watch some sand volleyball.